All right, so good evening, everyone. And it's always a great pleasure to have you all here, mentors and founders, and also quite exciting for us as we see your work being transformed gradually. It would be nice to have cameras on everyone. So yes, so this evening we have a session called Pitch Mastery. Pitch Mastery. So over the course of the past few weeks, typically you've all learned how to pitch with the one sentence, starting with the one sentence pitch, and then the 1 minute pitch. And so today we're going to learn, we're progressing, and you're going to learn how to pitch for 3 minutes using slides. And that's what our mentors are going to help guide you on how to do that. So that's the goal, to learning how to pitch with slides. And the 3 minute pitch is what you're going to use for your mentor idea review, which is next week. The mentor idea review is like our first level of examinations. Every single founder is going to pitch to a panel. So we have already about how many mentors? I think 4 men. About, okay. For each, we're going to have the mentor idea review for 2 days. So yes, so we'll be having 10 mentors for each day, 10 mentors for each day, and we'll split the cohorts into 2. So that's it. And so there's a pitch guide which can be found in your profile. So you're going to use that pitch guide to prepare your 3 minutes pitch using slides. And so the mentors are going to share with us this evening the latest and best practices for pitching a startup. And then they'll also talk about common mistakes that they often see new entrepreneurs make. For example, I can share one from experience we found that a lot of you, the content is just a lot of content in the pitch instead of simplifying your pitch and going straight to the point. So that's a very, very common mistake that we see. And I hope that you will learn from this. And then how to pick the right narrative structure for your business and what kinds of edits and adjustments that you need to make based on the audience. So meaning that each time you prepare a pitch deck or a pitch, depending on the audience that your presentation is being made to, you have to learn how to edit and make adjustments. So one pitch, one size does not fit all, it changes depending on the audience. And then mentors are also going to share with us some, recommended pitch templates and formats, hacks, and, tricks, or I would say different ways within which you can tweak. So this is our agenda for tonight. As usual, we're going to have next, after this, I do the mentor introductions, the working group reports, and then, of course, the hot seat presentation. Mentors will all review your pitches. So this evening, we have a number of mentors, and we're always excited and happy to have you share with us from your world of experience and help build the next generation of technology startups, in particular energy sector startups who are building products to change the world. And I because this is an energy accelerator. So we're in Nigeria, we have energy challenges, and so these innovators here are here to, bringing up quite some interesting ideas, and hopefully we'll have more lights in Nigeria at the end of the day. Anyway, so mentors, welcome. Let me just quickly introduce our mentors. We have Mr. Idowu Akinde, who is fondly referred to as the coach, and one of our most supportive mentors, always with us. And he's the founder of the digital co-creation firm called Bullion Labs. And Idowu has been coached and mentored and advised over 700 innovation teams and entrepreneurs, startups, as well as entrepreneurs on 4 continents. He also has building a fund called the Bullion, and the firm, VC fund is called Bullion Capital. And hopefully by the time you are done, we'll be looking to him to back some of the startups with pre-seed funding. Also with us is our favorite Khalil Halilu, who is an alumni of Founder Institute Abuja, and he's the founder of Sharp Logistics. That's the he founded, and is doing well. And so we're happy to have you here, Khalil. And most of the founders, I'm sure, will not give you breathing space because they want to meet someone who has been through this process. And Khalil is very, very good at pitching. And so this we had to get him at all costs to help, give guidance. And I hope, Khalil, that you set up office hours out of your busy schedule. Khalil is a serial entrepreneur. So outside Sharp, he also has Oya, which is also products providing strategic services. He has a hub called the CANS Hub, an eco-friendly and tech hub. He's also chairman of Center for Citizens Welfare and Community Development, and also launched an app called Zabe Election Monitoring app. He was also a winner at the North Star exhibition in Dubai. So Khalil has lots of laurels, funded by one of our mentors, who is a VC firm, that's Toby Davies. So thank you for being here. So if I've left anything out, we have their LinkedIn profiles. So just follow them on LinkedIn. Make sure you book office hours with them. Also with us this evening is Yemisi Sidi. Yemisi has worked as a facilitator and mentor, trainer, advisor, training over and supporting over 2,000 entrepreneurs. She's a World Economic Forum Global Shaper and has vast knowledge and a network providing strategic key insights that aid making decision making and proper planning to attract investments for startups across Africa. She's the owner of Seco Labs and Innovation Hub. So also more about her is on her LinkedIn profile. Also joining us all the way from Canada and I think Dubai is Nadia. No, not Dubai, Qatar. Yes, it's Nadia Albana. Can someone? There's someone who's this thing is not muted. Please mute you. Who's that? That's Tony. Okay. Sorry for that introduction. So Nadia, yes, okay. So Nadia is a senior director of product and business development at Alata Life Sciences, an enthusiastic supporter of entrepreneurs, especially in the health, biotech, and education space. She's pivoted her career from a biomedical scientist and assistant professor to an innovation architect, strategic advisor, leader, and founder of her own consulting firm. And she's bridging science and business and has 15 years plus of experience advancing and hear me now? Okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yes. And Nadia holds a PhD from Dalhousie University and an MBA from the University of Toronto, and completed courses in organizational membership. More about Nadia is on her LinkedIn profile. Also, we have Latif Ashekun, who is joining us all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, where he's the interim chief information officer at Fulton County government. Has 20 years of, can you mute? Latif has over 20 years of business technology experience and is a decorated U.S. Marine Iraq War veteran. And he's known for driving business transformations, maximizing operational excellence, and establishing strategic partnerships. He most recently served as the DCIO at Fulton County government and the city of Atlanta, where he led technology strategy operations and managed innovation for the largest service delivery business group. Wow. A lot is on Latif's plate. He lives in Atlanta with his family, very passionate about venture capital and startup ecosystem. And he speaks English, Yoruba, and Nigerian Pidgin. Welcome, welcome everyone. Welcome, Latif. And also we have Mahmoud. Mahmoud, 1 second, I need to pull out Mahmoud's. So Mahmoud, yes, Mahmoud is a tech entrepreneur, impact catalyst, innovation leader and advisor who has served as a delegate to the United Nations Economic and Social Council Youth Forum, and also the International Young Leaders Assembly and World Youth Alliance. He's a Microsoft Africa Scholar and Ampion Global alumnus who is passionate about mentorship, empowering diverse perspectives, and further creating transformative experiences with technology. He's currently a VC in residence at Logos Capital, galvanizing catalytic investments to fund impact-driven startups, providing social inclusion solutions in line with the SDGs across emerging markets. And energy and climate action is, one of their areas of the interest of their company, VC firm Logos Capital. I think we've seen Silvio. Yes, Silvio, the general partner, has been on one of the sessions since we started. So Mahmoud is here today, and these mentors will be providing feedback on the pitches and also making presentations. So welcome, welcome, welcome to you all.
Thank you.
We're very grateful to have you as well. And also to the founders, how are you all doing? And Well, it's not an easy journey. It's not an easy road for when you are building a business. And interestingly, from the last assignment or task, which was on the revenue session, I believe that you're all beginning to see, how things are unfolding for your business, especially with the question, the customer revenue model. And the question was, how many customers you're asked to project, how many customers would you need to acquire in order to earn a revenue of $1 million in the next 18 months? So by now, you should realize that what you're here to do is not child's play. Okay, so you are not those startups who remain at SME level. So for you to be able to build that kind of business, it means that you're thinking about doing big business. And I've reviewed all of your assignments, and some are getting it right, some are not getting it right, but it means that you have to go back to the drawing board. Now that you understand how big and large this vision is, so you go back and begin to work things back right from, your other tasks to align with this goal, okay? So welcome once again, everyone. And so the next item on the agenda is to quickly take reports from the working groups. So mentors, so typically, well, you all know we'll get feedback, from the, we'll get reports from the working groups on how they've, managed all through the week. And the startups here, before we get to the pitch, so just to help you with the feedback, are made up of both, not typical startups that are usually doing hardware, software. So we have a mix of both software and I think more of them doing hardware. So please keep that in mind. All right, so we're starting with the first group who is ready to provide feedback on activities within the group. So we're starting with masters.
Well, I can't. Hello.
Yes.
Okay,
President.
My name is Ola Abraham.
Okay.
I am.
From which of the groups? Yes.
Abraham, I am standing in. Yes,
You're not in masters. Ola Abraham, you're not in the masters group. It's gone off. Okay. Ezekiel Adamu.
Oh, okay.
We're taking it group by group. So can we have Ezekiel Adamu from the masters group?
I can start in for the masters group.
Okay, that's Bukinaye Japheth.
Bukinaye Japheth from the masters group.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. On behalf of Ezekiel, who is the not here yet, is trying his best to be around to meet in this call. We had quite a lot of meetings over the week. We looked first of all at the assignment and how we could come together, help one another to understand the nitty-gritty, and then to see how we can
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Mr.
Hello.
Bonakiri, you can go on, please.
Hello. Oh,
Mr. Bonakiri, you can go on, please.
yeah. Oh, yes, yes. So as I said earlier, I said that our group members, actually, all of them have shown much commitment to the rest of this institute and progress of our businesses and the progress of the teachings that we are getting from the Founder Institute. We want to appreciate it. Each of the times we call for a meeting, we have not seen anyone that is absent. We'll try our best to be there. The last time we actually talked much about the assignments. How can we really get this assignment done and make sure we do it to the best of our ability to make sure that we meet up with the demands. We also talked about this, that we should never miss this call, because it's from here we meet with the mentors coming live to teach us what they understood best and to make us to be on the tracks, make us to be on our getting our businesses sorted out. But I think presently I'm always seeing Christian around. I don't know, I can't tell why other members have not come here, but I think like Gail is struggling to be around. He's engaged one thing or the other, but I think he's going to be on this coordination from now. And we after that, we also put calls across, even outside of our meeting times. We call one another out all of the time to encourage one another to ensure that we do these assignments as given to us, and then follow up this to the PRS, to the fullest, so that we can get the real objectives of being a member of this Founder Institute. So that's what we are doing, and I can tell you that all of us are committed members in our master's group, and we are moving forward. Thank you so much. If Christian has anything to say.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Christian.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Yes. Just in addition to what Dr. Bunaki Jaffe just said, I think another of our group member, I see Bashir Umashe online. Then Ekele Augustine is chatting me up now that he's having issues with his Zoom. That's why he's not been able to connect, but he's trying seriously to connect. So in line with what Dr. Jaffe said, we're all committed to this program and we're doing our best to see how we can move forward on it. Thank you.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, I'm Shegun. I'm speaker group.
The next group is captains. Please, president of captains. Let's have your report.
Hello.
Yes. Go ahead, captains.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Solomon Enejo. I'm a member of the captains group. Our president, James Bekeson, is unavoidably absent. He's not feeling too well at the moment. So I and Amin will be standing in for him. We've had a couple of meetings during the course of the week. We've met on Zoom and as well on WhatsApp group meetings, where we discuss primarily how we can help each other, most especially how to confront our mentors, how to engage with our mentors and what to expect. We gave each other heads up as per expectations with the various mentors that we meet. And we also said we should not, we gave each other advice regarding how to approach them with regards to having an open mindset with regards to our businesses and not to be too, focused on the assignments. We should be free to, interact with them regarding our individual ideas and the businesses that we have. I personally gave an instance of the kind of interest that is generating and how I try to engage with my mentors, having conversation around my business and how, they can, help me in terms of the business. So also the president also gave us an insight on how the discussion he had with one of the mentors and, advising that it's a mentor that we should all, have an opportunity to listen to and interact with. And also, when we had a meeting on Saturday, one of our members also came on board with a suggestion that she would like a co-founder to be part of our working group meetings so that she'll be able to learn and make input as well, which we all affirmed to that suggestion. And we've had up to 3 meetings during the course of the week, of which the 4 of us have been very, very active in the meetings. We bring up our assignments, and ask questions where we need answers, where we need support. We've been kind enough to provide each other support where the need be. That is the bit from my side. I don't know if Alamin will have something to add to what I've said. Thank you.
Hello.
All right, Alamin, 1 minute.
Hello. All right, Madam. Mr. Solomon, I've said everything, and that's wonderful. He has covered. We have been having a lot of deliberations, all of us, the 4 of us, James, Solomon, and Stella, and we discuss our problems, how we will, especially regarding pitch presentations that will be meaningful and business perspective, short as possible. Also, that's what we discussed. Thank you.
All right, so that's great. Keep up with the working group. That's why you have the working group, to provide support to one another. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So Team Alphas group. There's Alphas. Good
Mr.
evening.
Shegun is around. He will give the brief shortly.
Okay, Shegun Adepoju. Okay. Shegun, we're waiting.
Okay, let me just while we wait for him to come up. But we just chatted in our group and then he said he was online. So we are all here. Alpha's group. One of our members was dropped recently. But the rest of us are doing well. We had 2 meetings in the course of the week, and we discussed our ideas, where we had challenges, issues that we're faced with, and way forward. We did a bit of our pitch to each other, and then did a further review on it, and then make contributions to ourselves. We also tried to find a way to respond to our assignments where we had difficulties, where we had challenges. We looked for ways, particularly for Lola Awashika, how to be able to expand the scope of her business. We talked about it, and how to also experiment. She's currently working on it, and she already has the business ongoing, and just a way to expand. A few other things we did were just reach out to each other where we had challenges and didn't know how to go about it. So we're able to encourage ourselves in our calls, and just find a way to also make sure that we don't drop out, that nobody in our group drops out anymore. That was what we did basically this week.
Okay. All right. So keep it up, and we'll take.
But Ma, just one additional thing I had posted in the group. So in the course of the week while we're working, we did updates. And I had complained. The update I did a thorough job on my deliverables, but the update, the report doesn't show any of it. It was what I did on the day we were having the meeting.
In your dashboard?
Yes, my dashboard.
It's not reflected in your dashboard.
it's not reflecting the last update I did as at yesterday.
As
I had done a thorough work. What you assessed was what I dumped on the dashboard last week Wednesday while we're still having the session. Yes.
Okay, you may need to go back and re-upload it.
Yes, for yesterday. If I can see yesterday's one, I don't know how I'll be able to get back to it.
Okay, after the session or maybe tomorrow morning, you can call the secretariat, then we'll go back, go in there. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Thank
you.
All
right. Yes. So the next group is corporate. Corporate.
Yes. Okay. Good. Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Godswill Falagba.
Okay. How are you feeling?
President for. I'm better now. Strong. Thank you so much.
Right. Yes.
Okay. We had a meeting, but we're just 3 of us.
Okay.
We're having challenge with our group, 3 members. Last time we tried to interact with the other 3 members to let me know what their challenges are, so that we can see how best we can assist. But we are still here to hear from them. 3 of us more or less discussed on how best to meet up with our assignments. We actually lagging behind before, but after discussing some of the challenges and the assignments together, we were able to meet up for some of us. We were able to meet up with assignments. We get a better understanding of what is required. And we were able to brace up some of the lapses we had, most especially my part, because I felt it for a while.
I hope it's not my network. It's from here. Okay. You're frozen. Okay.
Yes, that is basically the few interactions we had going forward. But we promised ourselves to say that this is a must-do program. And we've learned, by doing the assignment, we saw some of the basic lessons we can learn to improve our business. And we want to see how best to apply that going forward. Although some of our ideas, it's a little bit difficult. One part we discussed is a little difficult, most especially looking at market analysis, and because the product is really tied to government, more or less, to buy the product. So it's difficult for such product for us to do some market analysis. That is the little challenge one of my team member is having as to his products, because he's developing a security system for pipelines. And basically, it's either NMPT or the oil and gas industry that will buy. So having questions for that to see how best he can be able to do some of his analysis has been difficult for him. So we had meetings with some of the mentors, and they raised this question. They gave some suggestions, but we are still trying to see how best to manage with that analysis. Apart from that, we are good.
Okay. Yes, so there is no hill that cannot be surmounted. It's just that we keep trying to find different ways of solving the problem. And what I can say is also in this program, or what we're also helping you to do, is to also learn how to iterate. Okay, most products that you see on the market today that are doing well probably started, are not really, the ideas they started with. So what you may be, working with may be like the worst version of what you will eventually become at the end of the day. But we have Latif here with us, who, is familiar with government, even though it's American government. So office hours will help a lot, And I see your attendance in the corporate group is very low on office hours. 5, 4, 2. That will not take you people anywhere. Someone like Ebechidi has done about 35 meetings already with So the more you engage, the more the easier it becomes, you know, to profile some of these solutions, you know, of questions, naughty questions that, you know, your business and the assignments are, you know, spinning up for you. So I'll encourage you all, you know, to put in the best. And so these assignments, you know, these assignments are not, you know, the assignments that you're working, they're called company building work, okay? So what Founder Institute does is to, you know, help you build your business, you know, they are building blocks, and these are the requirements, you know, that these investors, you know, need to see, you know, that to help you put the right structure in place. These are things they like to see. Okay, so they are not assignments that you're doing for the reason of going through and you put them aside. No, this is how you're going to be. When any new idea you come up with, you will run it through this process. You will run it back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so that's the way it works. So it's learning by immersion, as it were. So you get the feedback working with your working group, then you get feedback working with the mentors who are on the field, you know, and then we're there to check your work as the directors, you know. So that network, that pool of resource is what will now help you kind of de-risk. You know, what we're trying to do is to help you de-risk your idea as much as possible, you know, to make you investment ready. And the mentors that you're seeing here, we call them mentors because we don't want to put pressure on them. All of them that you're seeing, they all have funds. That's the truth of, they all have funds to back startups. They are shopping for deals, for portfolios. That's why they are here and giving their time. So all of what we are doing here, you know, they are watching. No mentor is ready to give I see some pitches. Somebody is standing behind a tree. Somebody is standing, you know, just some careless pitches. We've given you templates. Follow the template. Present, put your logo in. Do a nice presentation. You can see my background. You can see, you know, so you can't just record something that is tacky and send it to an investor and you expect him to give you $50,000 or even 1 million naira. No. So it doesn't work like that. So every single thing that is happening here that we're showing you, just follow, like I said in Nigerian parlance, follow who know road. Just be following. You'll be shocked at what your business will be looking like. All of this engagement that it looks like it's a lot of trouble, forget it. That's what you really, really need. Okay, so I want to encourage you all. So it's not easy. It's not easy, but you all get there by the grace of God and with more hard work. So, and you say, even this working group that we're having, giving your reports, in the presence of it is deliberate. We can say, okay, let the mentors just come and give their presentations and go, no. Because they are also watching and seeing and observing and also understanding what the challenges of the founders are. So eventually, when they are able to back you, they know, you know. So we have Khalil here, who is an alumni. It was from a mentor who was just here like a man, you know. From there, his business was funded and they are progressing with the business, you know. And it can be any of you, you know, but you need to do the work. That's the truth. You need to do the work and deploy all the resources. Something else I find, we also have your reading resources on your dashboard, you know, and I've explained to some of you, you know, just in your spare time, just now, you know, is the time where, you know, this your phone, deploy the use of your phone. Stop doing sending a WhatsApp around, Tinubu this, Buhari this, that has passed. Just those resources or continue reading them. It will be sinking because you need them. It will help you with your assignments. You know, it will help you build your business better because there are tons of examples of startups that have succeeded, and their stories, their examples, strategies on, the different building blocks are all there. So this is the time for sleepless nights. By August, you are done. Okay, so you need to murder some sleep. So thank you all. So who else? Wow, there's a lot of presentations today. So the next group, we've had corporate. So the next group is champions. Rashid, Paul, Fatima. Is the network not?
All right. Good evening, all.
Okay, Paul. Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So this week we this week was two of us. I think Chetana and Miss PJ. They are no longer. Miss PJ said she opted out. Then Chetana email was sent to me as regards his performance. So we're left with just 3 persons, and though the job has really been very, very tough. Very, very tough, and our feedbacks, most of our feedbacks have not gotten. No, I myself have not gotten feedback even with the assignments, the deliverables I've done. So and one of the classes we missed, I don't know, the mentor was not actually live as at the time. So that's all for our deliverables. But we need more time to interact with mentors. So on my dashboard, I'm seeing I'm not I myself, I'm not I don't have the access to a work group meetings. We're just left with 3 persons, and that's it. And we're trying to see how to scale through. So that's about working group.
Okay, so you need to sit up, Paul, because you're not meeting up with your deliverables. I'm reviewing your deliverables, and you're also not. You don't have access to mentors unless you complete your deliverables. So you need to quickly, rectify that. And your attendance at office hours is also quite low, and the same with the others. And so if you're not able to cope with the pace of the program, that is what results in founders being dropped. So this program is not the program that wants to graduate the numbers. We want to graduate the very best, and those that are resilient, that can withstand the rigors, of the program. You're free to come back, but you must have time to deploy to this program and work on it full time. We're looking for founders who would build their business full time, who will get onto by the time they are done. Some could be in transition now, but there's no investor that will give you their money if you are not working full time on your business. So you also need to know that. So if you don't have time to go through the accelerator program, then, and do all that it requires. Each week, an average of 20 hours of work, 30 hours of work. It shows. If you don't put in the work, it shows. Okay? So I need to see your deliverables. That's Paul. And the same for Zara, who has deployed her assignment extension twice now. If not, those are potential dropout warnings. Our dashboard is already showing that, and you might have been receiving, you will soon start receiving the dropout warnings, from the system. So it's not something that we're doing here on our own, okay? That's from HQ, the LMS system. All right, so thank you for that report. So team, legends. Umar Ibrahim, yeah, I see you.
I'm here. Good evening, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good evening once again. I'm Umar Adam, representing the Legend group. So far, so good. We've been doing our best to meet up each and every task assignment and attending meeting. Our meeting days are Tuesdays and Fridays. We had a very long meeting yesterday. We went through assignment 5. We checked some technicalities that has to do with the assignment, and we all brainstorm together. So far, so good. Everybody is doing well in the group. Definitely, there might be people that are what do you call it, lagging behind. But we try to pull ourselves together, most especially when it comes to technical assignment, like the previous assignment that has to do with the website landing page. We're able to support each other. We went through our pages and it was successful. So far, we are doing our best to meet up each and every deadline. From my observation, almost all the team members are here in the call. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thanks for that. So your team members, Okiroro and Virginia.
Tony is then there is Tony also.
Yes, yes. Okay, so Virginia and Okiroro, they are not doing well with their office hours. Okay, so you need to, they need to pull up their weight. You are doing well. You've done 12 work, office hour sessions with mentors. So is Tony, who has done 17. So keep it up. It will definitely reflect in your work. All right, so the next group is Titans. Wow, I see Paul has done 23 office hours. Wow, okay, good. So who is making the presentation?
Yeah.
Titans.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Charles, the humble president of the Titans. We are Titans, and we believe that teamwork makes our dream to work. Actually, we've met several times, and particularly during the official times that were given to us. That is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. One of our members, the only lady within us, was officially pulled out, and we felt it, but we thank God. We are now 4, and the 4 of us left. I think we are like a chain that works together. They've been very helpful to me on a personal note, and probably I think they also feel that I've been helpful to them. Basically, during meetings, there was a time we have scheduled it. One of the agenda is the review of the dashboard of FI. And during the review, we are able to share resources from the dashboard and also even check the ratings. And after a few dashboard reviews, we discovered that 2 of our members actually got a very high rating, and they instructed me to ask FI what are the criteria for the rating, because then we're all 2. Even myself, I was not even rated at that time. And the next time we are going to meet, even before I asked FI what are the criteria for rating, one of us became, 2.7 something and 2.5, and the both of them now increased the overall rating of our group. So we thank them and we thank FI for the design of the program in all. To be frank, during our meetings, we talk like brothers, and we see, because the questions in the deliverables specifically ask us to discuss issues with our group. And we come to the group, and that has made many of our businesses to change focus. We've iterated and reiterated some of our businesses. One of us was even contemplating withdrawing. We told him, you go nowhere. We stay together, we are titans, and we remain here together. And to the glory of God, He is the one now that is even pulling some of us to be better. They actually reviewed us and told me particularly that I have not been doing well, myself and is it Akimbo, that I've not been doing well in attending mentors program. I said, I thought that it is when I need them. And one of them said urgent hours only. And I said, so I don't see anything urgent. And one of us told us that even the institute itself has made everything to become urgent. We were thinking that we'll be having 1 hour meeting, but most of our meetings are actually far beyond 1 hour. We are doing our best to make sure that we work together as a team. And as our slogan have said, teamwork makes our dream work. So we thank the Institute, and I thank my co-founders for the help they have given us so far. And we thank the mentors because most of the mentors review that we have individually, we often come together as a group to discuss what we've learned, how this mentor will take us to the left, another one will take us to the right, some will take us to the north, another one will take us to the south. But at the end of the day, we are like the university, as one of us said, in which it is still our business that we are going to build. It is our business, the company building work. And that is why one of us said it is a building work. So the FI is helping us to build. We also must put in our best to build. Else, if there is a wrong foundation, the whole building will collapse. Thank you very much, FI.
All right, Charles. Wow. You make a good orator. Maybe you have to design, you have to come up with a business for that, teaching people oratory skills online. Okay, so I think we have the last group presenting now, Dreamers.
I'm not hearing anyone again, no.
Okay, Dreamers.
Is it my network or general?
Okay, so Dreamers, yes. Dreamers. Anyone from Dreamers?
Yes, so very much available. Good evening.
Okay, yes, please quickly. Time is okay, Jibril Musa. Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Are you wearing a mask?
I'm Mr. Jibril, the president of. Okay, my video.
Okay.
Right?
That's your profile. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I'm Musa Jibril, the president of the Dreamers. Basically, I must commend my peers. They're doing one of the best. They have one of the best innovation. I've had a lot of people speak there, but I'll not lie. We have one of the best innovation. We spoke about our assignment. We had our meetings twice. On Sunday, it was meant to be 2 hours. It went about 4 hours. We're trying to discuss Mr. Galasi's innovation, which is a very massive one. And then Madam Sheu's solution, which is also a massive innovation. I don't even think the industry is ready for what's coming. I think basically for us, it's about just lifting each other, because myself, I don't think I'm good enough, but thank God I think I'm better. We're getting better. It's been challenging. I think I still have some pending assignments which I need to work on very fast, very, very fast. We're trying to keep up, and I know we are good to go as a team. Thank you. I think that's all for now.
Okay, all right, thanks for that report. Yes, so the next group is Icons, the final group.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Rebecca. So I'll be giving a report for the Icons group. Unfortunately, 2 people from our group dropped off last week. And technically, we are 2 people left in our group. We have other supporters. But it's been a very interesting and tough journey. We have our meetings every Mondays and Wednesdays after the meeting. So basically, we've been encouraging one another to meet up with deliverables and more importantly, apply the learnings to building our business and then improving. So those are some of the things that we've been doing in the Icons Group. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca. And not to worry, like I said, when people drop off, it's either they are not prepared, and then they can always come back another time when they're better prepared. And even just 2 weeks or 3 sessions of Founder Institute is enough, to help a startup or a founder, dig deeper into what they are working on and, quickly refine, and then come back and go through the, better prepared to go through the program. So when people drop out, it's not an unfortunate thing. It's okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. So that's it for the working groups and mentors. Thanks for your patience, and we're moving on to the hot seat pitches now. And Catherine will, handle the hot seat pitches. So you need to.
Thank you, ma'am.
Enable your camera.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Founders and members, welcome once again. So for the session today, we will be doing the 1-minute pitch, and then for your mental idea review, which is for the presentation, that's when you practice to start. So Samantha, the rating link has been sent to you directly, and click on the rating and create the business plans founder. We're starting with Lola Aweshika. Ms. Lola Aweshika, are you ready? Ms. Lola Aweshika, are you ready? So we'll move on to Bashir Umar Shehu.
Hello.
Okay. So Bashir Umar Shehu will be getting feedback from Mr. Mahmoud. So you have 1 minute and your time starts now.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bashir Umar Shehu, a co-founder at Greenergy. Greenergy is a company involved in the production of ethanol to help reduce Nigerians' reliance on imported ethanol at exorbitant price. At Greenergy, we utilize sugarcane for the production of ethanol, which is obtainable in almost every part of the country. We compete in a growing ethanol market, which as of last year was valued at 160 billion naira. We currently completed the design of our model plant and we obtained a patent for it. We're looking for investors to invest in our business so that we'll be able to start our production to help relieve the shortage of ethanol in the Nigerian market. Thank you.
So please, can we have feedback from Mr. Mahmoud? Mustafa?
Yes. So I'll go with good. I'm interested in becoming an advisor and learning more on that. Nonetheless, I think anyways, when I'm your advisor, we'll be able to work on your pitch better. It should be, how long do I have? How many minutes? Because I know we have a lot of things.
1 minute, please.
So basically, it's number 4. I'm interested to learn more about your project, and I'm interested to also be an advisor. I think you are able to be a part player in the energy transition, and if you are able to figure out the market niche and just become a pilot fish in the ocean, then the big whales will not eat you. And I'm there to help support and guide you through this process. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're quickly going on to the next founder. We have Okiroro Ayowata. Kiroro. Okay. We getting feedback from Ms. Nadia. Okay, so Okiroro, you can start now.
I am Okira Ayowata, the founder of Micheli Engineering Integrated Services, a solar rooftop energy company in Nigeria. We are developing a point-of-sale installment payment model for small and medium-scale enterprises and low-income earners to be able to buy our solar energy products and pay in installment over the period of 1 or 2 years. This will help our potential customers to solve their energy problems and also to help them save 85% of the cost they spend in generating electricity for themselves. We compete in the $300 billion market, and Green Power Energy and Asdam Solar is our major competitors. We are different from our major competitors because we offer very low cost initial payment and interest. We are seeking a selection fund from investors in exchange of a percentage of equity. Thank you.
We have Ms. Nadia in the room. Can we have feedback from Mr. Idowu?
Oh, hi. Okay. 1 second, please. Hi, can you hear me?
Sir.
Okay. So, all right. So, that was an okay pitch for a solution to a problem that I don't doubt will blow very soon, if I may use local language, right? So, do I doubt the viability of both the problem you described and the solution, okay? The problem, if I can reverse engineer it out of how you described it, is actually the access to the solar, not necessarily the solar products, right? Which is, so you're having some kind of business model innovation around helping people afford and pay in a way that they would previously not have been able to access this technology or innovation that is obviously good for them. So the problem is not lost on me. The solution is not lost on me. But if I were really, really, really engaged doing something else, right? Maybe I was reviewing another pitch deck, or I was reviewing financials for a startup that I've invested in for the past 3 years, and I'm doing something really, really important. I don't think that the pitch you just delivered is strong enough to compel me to look away from whatever I'm doing and say that again, gentlemen. Or say, gentlemen, here's my number, here's my card, let's meet for coffee on Friday. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so
yes, sir.
So that's like the overview, okay? In terms of specifics, I thought that you came to this pitch with more of the solution, and that's a natural weakness for all smart people, okay? We are really, really immersed in the solution that we are building. After all, this is our day job, right? So there's the tendency sometimes to be so, to sell so much of the solution, right, in your pitch. But actually, the irony is that when you sell the problem, the solution is actually icing on the cake. Any pitch is about selling a problem, right? That's, or selling an insight that you as a founder have found about a select group of people who are experiencing a problem, and obviously nobody's paying attention to it. So you think it's a massive opportunity that everybody's missing. So you can't wait to tell this investor about it so that they can leave what they're doing and come join you on this journey. That's the anatomy of every pitch. Okay. Hopefully we can do more of this in office hours, but let me not take up too much time. So I'm not saying that the idea is not good or the problem is not good, but the pitch, maybe in a few weeks' time, I'm sure you'll do better than this. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so please, mentors, remember to follow the template and read the founder presentation via the link and chat box. So thank you, Mr. Joe. We're moving on to the next founder, Ms. Mariam Shehu. Ms. Mariam Shehu. Ms. Mariam Shehu, are you ready? Okay, if you're not, can we have Ms. Lola Awashika?
Sorry, I was having some issues with my system.
Okay.
Okay. So
sorry, hold on, please.
Good evening. I'm so sorry.
Hold on, please. So we'll be getting feedback from Mr. Kalio. Mr. Kalio. Okay, so Ms. Maran, you can go now.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Bamuskai Energies plans to sell gas in form of LPG and CNG to all forms of vehicles, and to also have a vehicle conversion center to provide flexibility for vehicle owners to use petrol and gas. We have segmented our markets whereby we have B2B customers who will be owners of tankers, trucks, caterpillars, and other heavy-duty vehicles, while we also intend to serve B2C customers. Our initiative will help vehicles to overcome high cost of fuel, which has risen by about 350% since December 2021, reduce cost of maintenance from adulterated AGO, and so on. We're in a niche market, and we have a competition from AGO and PMS. We've done our analysis, and we see that it will not.
Okay. Your 1 minute is up. Okay.
Follow the template.
Yes, please make sure you follow the template on the screen so you can keep to minutes. So please, can we have feedback from Mr. Khalil?
Okay, if I understand clearly, you're using gas to substitute or to complement petrol. Is that correct?
Yes, please.
In order to drive down the cost.
Yes, because gas is cheaper.
Okay, you see, I mean, obviously it's cheaper, and for someone that is in the energy sector, you know, it's very clear that you can see the difference. But my advice would be to use very simple and basic terminologies to explain things in a very simple manner. You know, that is why you've gone past, you know, the allocated time, also not following the templates. You just need to explain it in a very, very basic and plain manner. I don't know if you
get what I mean. That is where don't try to make it complex. Actually, by making it simple, it is not metrics. I don't know if you get what I mean. That's the difference between real life and university or institutions where but in actual sense, the simpler you make things, the easier it is for everyone to digest and also to get your point across. So choose basic words. There's nothing wrong with that. Try to make it least complex, and deliver your pitch. That would be my advice. What you are doing has a market. It's something that we use every day. Everybody is, complaining about in the most simple and basic manner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khalil. So we're moving on to the next founder. We have Godwin Uzeke. Godwin Uzeke.
I think you had called my name before, so.
Okay, she's back in. Okay. So while we're waiting for Mr. Godwin, let's hear from
I'm
Lola
here.
Awashika. Yeah, let's hear from Ms. Lola Awashika, and we'll be getting feedback.
Godwin is here. Hello.
Yes, we're going to hear from Ms. Lola Awashika, and we're going to get feedback from Mr. Latif. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. My name is Lola. Sorry, can I start?
Yes, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lola Awashika, and I'm the CEO of eVoyage Boating and Engineering Company. My company is building an electric water taxi with the aim of helping local boat operators reduce their operational costs by turning the current petrol-powered engines into electric engines. We are competing in the rapidly growing electric boating industry, which last year had a total value of about $2 billion. My company is similar to Yamaha in Japan and Vector Power Engineering in Canada. We don't have any competitors locally. And those two have a combined revenue last year of about $200,000. The only difference is that in my case, I'm looking to build both the engines and the batteries in Nigeria. Now I'm here to ask for a $500,000 investment fund to help build a prototype of 1 boat and 2 charging stations. Thank you.
Can we have feedback from Mr. Latif?
Sure. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So I thought it was a good pitch, but let me just quickly recap what I thought the problem was and your recommended solution before I give feedback. So it seems as if there are, I think you said, thousands of local boats, right, that transport people and goods in Nigeria right now. And I guess it's not optimal, it's not safe, it's not modernized. And essentially you want to build your own electric boat, right, to replace the existing boats in Nigeria. So a couple of questions. Why, I guess the first thing is there's an opportunity there, right? Let me say that. But I guess as a user, looking at the scalability of this, why would someone, a potential customer, right, buy your product instead of something that's already out there in the market? So let me give a real example, right? When Tesla first got into space, the electric vehicle space in the US, there was obviously a lot of resistance. There wasn't a lot of belief in that, right? He had to raise essentially billions of dollars, right, to build something that was first to market and, quite frankly, a disruptor, because there are no EVs, right? And then he eventually got into the battery space, which he scaled now, right? Whereas with the electric boats, from what I'm hearing, I know that there are other electric boats that exist in other countries, right? I'm not sure about the affordability, but I guess if an investor is to invest in your idea, why would they do that if there are existing products in the market that can fulfill the same need and probably at some point in the future be affordable to your potential customers?
Okay, that's a great question. The first thing is that I'm looking to reduce the operational costs. I'm not sure, I don't know if you're aware, but the operational cost of running a boat for local boat operators is 75% of their total operational cost. I mean, the operational cost of fueling, I wanted to say, fueling with petrol and diesel is 75% of the total operational costs. So it's a no-brainer, right? But then I've spoken to at least 3 competitors abroad. So Vector Power Engineering, I had a meeting earlier today with another company in Italy. They're called Navia. I've also spoken to Evoy. I've had several meetings with them. And what I found out from my research is that the costs of buying from those foreign builders, boat builders, is exorbitant, is not affordable for any individual. And even if the government decides to get into this, it's not going to be affordable for them. So we need to have something that is produced in Nigeria that is not dependent on the fluctuation of foreign currency, because obviously you have to pay in dollars or in euros. And last but not the least, I think that this is a product that the government will be interested in because it will create jobs in Nigeria.
Okay, so thank you for that response. And so follow-up question, right? Because this is a product, this is hardware, right? And I didn't really hear you talk about your team. So now my question is more around, you're gonna need engineers, you're gonna need design folks, you're gonna need product marketing folks, again, which in some instances is a competitive advantage. So how are you going to source that, right? When there's a shortage of those type of experts globally?
You said there's a shortage of those globally. Is that from your own research or?
Well, you said a couple of things. You said batteries, right? And actually building the electric vehicles, right? And if you remember, I see a question in the chat. If you remember, I said that these products already exist in the marketplace. And then your counter was, well, for your local demographic, they can't afford that. So you're essentially building an entirely new product to compete against other products, right? Except yours is going to be affordable. Is that correct?
Yes, mine is going to be more of engineering and building the boats. So that is one thing. I don't intend to build the boats myself. I intend to use their architects and their engineers. The second thing is that, yes, for the batteries, that is where there's a challenge, because obviously I think I have to use foreign batteries for now. So you're right there. That's not the cost reduction is not going to come from the batteries. It's going to come from building the boats locally.
Okay, so I'm going to close out. Great opportunity, right? I think there is potential for it. Only thing I would say it's also a very difficult space because it's hardware, right? So maybe we can connect via some office hours and I'll provide some additional feedback.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just also, I know we took a lot of time. You doing hard tech is a very difficult thing in a new market like that, but nonetheless, there are people that have worked on projects similar to that across the world. Feel free to use the resources from this institute, and I believe you'll be able to take it to the next level. It's gonna be hard, but hey, why are we here? To make it easy, right? So let's try.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Latif and Mr. Mahmoud. So we're moving on to the next founder, Mr. Godwin Uzede, and we'll be getting feedback from Ms. NCDMB. Mr. Godwin, are you ready? Mr. God, okay, are you ready? Okay, you can't hear
Yes,
him.
I'm ready.
I
So
think your network is
my name is
good.
Godwin.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you, Mr. God.
Yes, I'm ready. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Mr. Godwin.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, Mr. Godwin. Okay, I think
Hello.
the network is a bit
So
shaky.
my name is Godwin. Hello, everyone. My company Ozenis, my company is the energy metering system for shared apartments and to provide electricity. Yeah, can you hear me? Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hear you, Mr. Godwin.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Mr.
can hear you.
Godwin,
Go ahead.
Mr. Godwin, can you hear? Just please kindly sort out your network and then we'll get back. But in the meantime, we're moving on to Mr. Enalume Kingsley, and we'll still get feedback from Ms. Yemi PECD. Enalume Kingsley, are you ready?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, please go on. Your time has now.
My company, SM Engineering Solutions, is developing an oil and gas pipeline vandalization detection system to help the Nigerian government and NNPC Limited to prevent the vandalization of pipelines with the use of out-of-sight sensing units that have the capability of sending the GPS coordinates of suspected activities to a control center and a patrol team. And this will lead to an immediate national revenue boost of $4.2 billion annually. We compete in a growing pipeline security market, which last year was valued at $9.5 billion. We are similar to Latin Technology and Sensuguards, but we are different in that we are going to be introducing other technologies such as the use of drones for increased surveillance. We are at the point of developing an MVP. We are asking or looking for mentorship and funding to help us develop, validate, and launch the product. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kingsley. Yeah, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you. I think your presentation was one of the most straightforward. So you used very simple, easy to understand words. So even somebody who is not in that industry would quickly get what you're saying, which I think is very, very important. So well done, and thank you for that. You're looking to operate in a very highly regulated space where there is an existing, where there are existing players. So it should be interesting to see how so you've mentioned what would make you stand out, but are they things that are hard to replicate by people who are already established in that space? And it also looks like a very capital heavy business as well, and still ties down to, I think, the previous lady that spoke, how this is more hardware than a tech startup in a way, but it sounds really, really interesting. I also made a note to ask about what your estimated revenue would be. So you've talked about the value of this industry and how much you'll be saving your potential customers, but what is the estimated projected revenue for you? Do you have that? If you don't, that's fine, but that's also something to consider because it sounds very interesting. But it sounds like it's a wide space, a space with a lot of value, especially in terms of service that you're providing to customers. But in terms of what makes you stand out, it's okay. I just had to send my baby out as soon as Catherine mentioned I was speaking next, so it's fine. Don't worry. So I was, yeah, so it's just really important to consider the ability for your competitors who are already established in this space to replicate whatever you think you would consider as USP. But this is definitely something I would want to hear about and want to advise to, and potentially invest or speak to other investors that would be interested, especially if you've done your homework really well and you're sure that this is not just a passion project, but something that can definitely yield results.
Thank you very much. I appreciate those valuable feedback.
Okay, thank you, Ms. DMB. So we'll move on to the founder, Mr. Ekele Augustine, and we'll be getting feedback from Mr. Mahmoud Mustafa. Mr. Ekele Augustine, are you ready?
Good evening, everyone. I'm ready. My name is Ekele Augustine, and it's
Mr. Augustine? Mr. Ekele Augustine?
and other relevant information. Healthcare providers will be able to access and update patient health record in real time, which can improve care coordination, reduce medical error, and enhance patient outcome. The total available market in 2023 is 415 billion USD. Competitors include CryptMB, Helion Health, Zodok. We differentiate ourselves from other healthcare platforms by offering comprehensive solution, integration of services, enhanced patient compliance with medicine, streamlined healthcare delivery, data interoperability, user-friendly experience, and scalability and growth potentials. We have currently developed our prototype and are ready to launch it on web application, having passed fiscal validation. We have a team of software engineers and market team ready, and also
So, ready for me?
Yes, for Mr. Mahmoud.
Yeah, so Mr. Ekele, where do I even see the charts so that I can use that to give you my feedback? Let me go back to the other side. The screen sharing, it's yes, okay. First, I'm gonna be real with you and the rest. A very, very important aspect of being the paradigm shift across the healthcare sector, but your biggest challenge is you are overdoing it, which the challenge will result for you not making anything out of it. You need to take a niche. First, in this, I heard you want to do telemedicine, you want to do electronic medical record, you want to give access to people in remote communities, which has to do with poor technology infrastructure, connectivity, and the rest. It's a lot, but I know you know what you are doing. You have to take it back and take one step at a time, and now create literally a blueprint into the future and add most of this feature. And that is one of the biggest challenge with startup companies. You just believe like, oh, I can do this system. It's gonna have this. You can do transfer this. You can get your medical record, this and this and this and that. And guess what? At the end of the day, when you put everything together, it's gonna cost you more. It's gonna literally burn you. Like you're gonna burn, like trying to get this together. And especially in a place, currently at your target market, let's assume it's primarily Nigeria. That is a very, very difficult thing. Everything you're trying to do is absolutely an amazing solution to the challenges in the healthcare sector. But I advise you, forget all the, like, let me use Nigerian thing, the Dogon Turanchi and the rest. That I know you already know. Come back to getting just one niche and use it as market entry. That is easy, faster to sell, and faster to build, with a good amount of people to help and get them, and use that as validation to now start adding any other thing. So in the rating, I think it's number 2 I'll give you, based on your pitch. Like I said, what you said, they're amazing, and the rest, if you are like already like one of the top companies coming to me as with an investment deck, we'll start talking about that. But at this stage, I think there's a lot of work you need to do to fine-tune the market niche across the healthcare sector and more. We are here on Zoom. How many times do you see other people could not even connect to talk? Talk less of deploying healthcare services across rural communities, which you stated in your pitch is one of your go-to markets. So I'll advise you, and nonetheless, I'm here to advise, support in any way I can, but I think you can start very simple. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mahmoud. Hi, Ms. Nadia. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would agree 100% with Mahmoud. Like every single syllable he said was accurate. It's a lot of problems to face, and not a lot of time. You also want to see, especially with those kind of healthcare challenges, you want to see what is the smallest problem that you can solve, that is worth solving, and that is profitable for you to solve. And the quickest one to solve, because you want to get a result, especially with healthcare. Healthcare has quite a long sales cycle, and so because you're working with communities and different collaborators and different people, mostly public sector, sometimes private sector, and a challenging mix of a complex environment. So the smallest problem that is worth fixing, that is profitable and gives you then the opportunity to fix the next problem. I also will point out that there was just IFC has just today I saw the news. IFC has provided funding for an organization to improve the healthcare in Kenya by 20%. Like the target was an incremental improvement, not even a complete resolution of the problem, but an incremental improvement in the healthcare system, and they had a particular focus as well. So that gives you the sense that it's even that is the granular level of thinking about the problem and the value of the solution that you're bringing. Yes, thank you, my friend Ajima. Thank you for pointing this out. So especially in healthcare, it's you have to really spend some time thinking deeply about the problem and the solution that you have, and how ready you will be to provide that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Nadia. So we have the last founder.
Hello. I'm Godwin. My network is restored now.
Okay. So let's hear from Mr. Godwin, and then we'll hear from Ezekiel. So we'll be getting feedback from EMC. So Mr. Godwin, the time starts now.
All right. Thank you, everyone. My name is Godwin. My company, Oceanic Limited, is developing a multi-channel electrical energy metering system for shared apartment buildings to provide electricity consumers through shared function single device. We partake in a market that in the Nigerian electricity metering market, which currently requires about 354 billion naira to close the metering gap. We are similar to a number of companies such as SWD Electric and Mojek Electric Nigeria Limited and several others. But we provide a multi-user, multi-access metering technology Currently, we have developed an MVP for a new strategic product. And we are looking for funding through investment to help us build infrastructure for product development and marketing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to have feedback from Yamsi and also Mr. Khalil.
Okay, that sounds really interesting, but I want to be very clear. So you're building a device, or you're working on a device that would enable shared apartments kind of split their electricity bill. So if me and my neighbor share the same meter, with your device, we can. Did I get that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, so who is your customer? Who's going to be paying you for this product?
Well, the payment for the product goes to individuals who will buy the meter, and the distribution companies, and also the government.
Okay, so the person that will be paying you to provide this product is me, that do not want to share, that want to be very clear with my neighbor on how much I have spent on electricity this month, and then government as well, right? And AEDC, for instance, we live in Abuja. Am I clear? Is that correct?
No, you like you as the owner of the apartment or the owner of the house, instead of having a number of meters you buy and install, you will not have only one meter installed, but each of the occupants of the house that living in separate apartment will have their own access without having to bother any other person. You pay your bills, you do everything within the meter, but without having any connection with the other persons.
Okay, so it's the owner of the house that is responsible for buying this device. So if I have an apartment or a compound, as we say, with 6 houses, I can buy a device instead of buying 6 different meters. I can buy your device one, and then my 16 tenants can use that.
Yeah.
Honestly, as the user, that sounds fantastic for me. But again, this is a very highly regulated industry. It is not, it's not, I don't know how to communicate this properly, but think about who would be your enemy in this case. You're looking for the government's trouble, because when people buy their meter, they are not paying, they buy their meter from AEDC. So now instead of AEDC selling 6 meters, because of you, they are selling 1. Mm-hmm. What are the chances of your business? I'm trying to be very careful with my words. Yeah. But what are the risks? What risk can you identify?
Yeah.
Right. Into this. No. I think because we have other people who need to. So I think what your idea is absolutely fantastic. But I think you need to think carefully about who your user is versus your paying customer, and the regulations that you be, and the authorities that you would be fighting. I think it's a fantastic idea. If I was a house owner, I would definitely buy your products, right? Because it's not buying 6 meters, I'm buying 1. And hopefully that one is cheaper than buying 6. If not, again, that defeats the whole purpose of having 1 meter in my house. But I think you also need to carefully consider the risk. So the main parties in this are the government and so on. So how will you get them to buy into what you're doing, right? Without it causing too much trouble long term. And we could discuss this some more in office hours.
Okay, fine. I would like to discuss it more likely with you. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Yamisi. Can we have feedback from Mr. Khalil, please?
Okay, thank you for your presentation. It's something I have interest in because I'm on board of a meter company. So I understand this market very reasonably. I will just buttress, from the initial feedback that you need to understand who is paying what, and also properly understand the politics around electricity, especially in Nigeria. So previously, before people started buying meters by themselves, it is the responsibility of the discos, to meter a customer. But then there was a time where an opportunity was given to customers to buy the meter by themselves due to scarcity. And then you also have the government buying meters under the MAP program. You can Google it or read about it. So I understand clearly what the solution does is, rather than having multiple meters, you just have one meter, but you need to know whose problem you are solving, basically, because depending on the environment, the person that you are pitching this solution to might not be the person paying for the meter. So you need to understand that. But also there might be a great opportunity for you here, and I'll tell you for free. A lot of the times, if you go to dense places, in the cities, there's always a what they call bypass, so the meter is there, but people bypass it so that they don't pay for the electricity that they are consuming. It's very difficult, especially in the slums, right? So I remember my company was experimenting meters that the neighbors can see, but nobody will be able to know which one is their own. And if you attempt to tamper with it, it will shut down the entire community. So basically community policing. So your neighbors wouldn't want you to even tamper with the meter because it will also affect his own electricity. So if you can find a way of solving that problem and selling it to the disco, one, you can fix this problem. Secondly, you can also reduce the cost of having multiple meters. Okay, but is you work with someone that understands this industry very, very well, because there's so much politics involved. There are some people that it is not of their interest to sell less meters, and you might be pitching this same idea to them, and they'll come for your head. So understanding the stakeholders properly and mapping them out in terms of everyone's interests, I think, is key. But generally, great idea.
And yes, sorry, so that maybe if I don't meet you in office hour, just a minute. While I don't truly understand what you're doing, I think it's something that will be a disruption in the market. And there are disruptors. There are people that come change anything that is not the norm. It's going to take them time, energy, and resources to get there, but it's possible to. I've not seen anything out there right now in my head. But also what I also realized is for you to focus on your target market, which I think you supposed to be in B2B, B2B2C, because your biggest people should be people building real estate are reducing their costs and giving them your architecture to build the electrical system entirely in their buildings across both public housing, commercial housing, and individuals to be able to do that. I don't know if I'm going to connect on that, but nonetheless, if I have time, I'm happy to give you that. But the biggest thing is the technology. And if you do that, I think you will make a run for your money. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
So the last founder today is Ezekiel Adamu. Ezekiel Adamu will be
Good evening, everyone.
Please, we get feedback from Ms. Nadia. Okay, your time starts now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adamu Ezekiel Yaku. Post-crash fire is one of the most dangerous accidents on the roads today. My company, Devil Limited, is developing an automated fire arrestor system, AFAS, to help all marketers using road truck tankers solve the problem of post-crash fires with our artificial intelligence subscription model. We compete in the growing fire protection system market, which last year was a $66.8 billion US value market. We are similar to Kildo Fire Systems and Honeywell safety products, but we have a trained algorithm that triggers autonomously. And currently we have a patent, a design with an MVP in progress. So we are looking for $150,000 US to help us complete our MVP and validate our market. Thank
From
That was very tight on time. I'm pretty sure you were less than 2 minutes there. So to me, it's if you're aiming for a 3-minute pitch, you have a bit more time to speak to multiple elements a little bit more. I'm really happy that you mentioned the use of funds, because it's important for people to know what stage you are at. So you want to develop the MVP and you want to validate your market. Now, I'd be careful about the wording of validate the market. I think what you mean to say is to validate the product, or validate, to validate the product itself. I would emphasize at the very beginning in terms of, they can traffic, you're focusing, your problem is really one of those interesting problems to solve. It could get you might be able to focus it or to divert it depending on how things go. I think if I was to make an advice, would be to think of the problem and the payer, and tell me not just the full market size, but a little bit of like, who are you targeting? Who is your ideal client? I might have missed it. If I do, I apologize, but I think it's good to emphasize that aspect of the pitch. So it's a very good start. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, sorry. Is your question meant to me?
So, yeah, for Ezekiel, when you say you're using AI in terms of what again?
Okay, I'm using AI for fire safety monitoring and control, actually. What we're using is an artificial...
Yeah, quick, yeah. So how does that work in fire control?
Thank you very much. Okay, actually, a control engineer, what we are trying to do is, we use an algorithm that we sense. I train a model in our system here. We train a model that actually recognizes fire, and then triggers a system to extinguish the fire. So actually, it's an AI because it works based on...
No, don't worry about it. I know AI. So what I'm saying is, does that work is it for cars, for house, or for pipeline company? For what particular industry?
Okay, right now it's for truck tankers. That's why in my speech I was particular, like truck tankers.
So do you have to augment the truck tankers with other devices in order to enable that thing to trigger it?
No, the device is actually an integrated device. Once you buy it, we install it on your tanker truck, it triggers automatically, and just like the airbag in the car, it triggers once there is this impact automatically. So this is the same modus operandi, I may say.
So what's this? Anyways, we'll talk about that later, because I'm looking at a truck is already slim and the rest. How many tons of whatever gas or anything do you need to quench a fire of a truck on fire? That's what I wanted to understand. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Not like because of time and the rest, but I wanted to just get that in my head and see if it's something I want to learn more about. But thank you. I'll learn to learn more about it.
Center presentation.
Is Khalil not here? Mentor, okay, so we're moving on to the next item on the agenda. That's mentor presentation. So Khalil, are you ready for your presentation? Okay, he's not, looks like he's off. Okay. So we'll take the next person. The next person Ido, you're ready. We can have you quickly.
Sure. 1 second, please.
Okay. All right.
So I don't have the perfect, can you see me, hear me well?
Yes.
All right, so I don't have the perfect set of slides to cover what I would love to cover at a topic like this. But I'll share something else that is very similar that helps founders visualize the major things to think about when it comes to pitching. And here we go. Please tell me when you can see my screen, PowerPoint, the language. Okay, so we now choose language in Zoom. Okay. English. Zoom is asking me to choose a language.
They're trying to be inclusive, you know.
Great. Share screen. So collapse. Aha. This usually is taken well. I think I should stand. The sitting all right. Thank you. This version.
Okay.
So I think that one thing I can take away from the hundreds of founders that I've spoken to who have some type of investor-related dilemma, okay, is the difference between the mindset of an investor and the mindset of a founder, okay? So by nature, every one of you in this room, each founder in this room, every one of you is a problem solver. You were going about your business one day and you saw a problem. Oh, somebody described automated fire arrestor system, right? Maybe you were just at a bus park one day and you were like, oh, how do these guys manage fire incidents on the go, right? Founders by nature find a problem that stops them or keeps them from sleeping, okay? And by definition, when they start to interact with investors, they assume that investors think that way. They assume that investors are also equally consumed by that need to solve a problem. So you see in a lot of, and some of you have demonstrated this today, you were trying to pitch, okay? We understand that it's a practice pitch, but you were trying to pitch to potential investors, and you were so focused on describing how your solution solves so many problems and does this and does that and does this and does that. Actually, you will catch that investor's interest and attention better if you describe how your solution will help them multiply the capital in their nest or in their basket. Because investors and founders are from two different planets. They are from two different worlds, okay? So, and I think, so I open by saying this usually helps founders on that, really introspect and discover many of the things that they are thinking about wrongly, okay? So this is just a few markers, okay? This slide is actually a leader to this particular slide. So this is the real slide that I really like to focus on. I like to think about a startup's journey, okay, as the following set of 6 or thereabout stages, okay? When an investor sees you, the first thing they try to do is gauge, estimate, or listen for you to say explicitly what stage you are at. And depending on what stage you are on, there is a mental picture of a risk profile that investor automatically assigns to you and your startup. This is why you see people raising 150 million. I think also we've raised 150 million at their last Series C, right? But founders at the idea stage will struggle to raise 50,000 because because that one that is near that end, near the growth stage, they are there because they, as Ajuma said earlier, they've de-risked themselves from all the stack of risks that were stacked against them in the early stages. Now, almost everybody in this room is between idea, prototype, and maybe maximum MVP, right? So you can see the stack of risks that are against you, okay? And this is not supposed to weigh you down. This is just like a mirror image that shows you, okay, so now I understand, okay? Now, when you adopt this kind of image, or let's use the word image of how investors perceive you in terms of risk, then you are better equipped to, number one, communicate what that investor wants to hear. The implication of a stack like this is that when you're talking to an investor and you're at idea stage, the investor knows and understands that somebody at idea stage is not worrying about the deliverables or expectations of somebody at MVP stage. Somebody at idea stage, the only job you have in the world is customer validation and problem validation. Ajuma's camera has come on, that means my amount of time, okay? But I'm sure you appreciate the spirit of this slide. And this is the main slide in the whole thing, okay? If you don't take anything away from this, please remember that depending on where you are on the journey, you can communicate to an investor that you are focusing on what matters to take you to the next stage, because the next stage is less risk, and then the next stage is less risk, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'll stop you there for now. Hopefully we can continue in office hours. I'd love to chat with any of you. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right, well, thank you, Ido, for keeping it short and smart. Yes. Okay, so Q&A sessions, and you're giving us that slide, yeah? So that we can share with them. All right, thanks. Okay, so the next presenter, is Khalil back in the room? If not, Nadia? Okay.
I'm here, I can go.
Oh, okay, great. All right. Just go ahead.
All right, I'm just trying to switch from my mobile. Oh, but just a second. I can talk through it and then email you the slides, okay?
Yes, okay.
So first of all, I like the FI template, for slides. It's still what I use to adopt. But I just think there's some extra things that needs to be highlighted, for us to learn from, okay, which is stakeholder mapping. Everything we do here, or we do around businesses, is we need to be able to understand the stakeholders properly in order to be able to pitch to them, in the most appropriate manner, okay? And there's something I developed which just have, 4 steps in terms of stakeholder mapping. Which I will type, of course, here. Number 1, you need to understand who the stakeholder is. That's their name. Secondly, what they are responsible for. So an example is, okay, if you are pitching to an angel investor, what they're actually responsible for is, it could be finding you some money, it could be finding you some customers, it could be helping you spending more time with you to, refine your product, for product market fit, okay? And the 4 things are, number 1, you need to understand their likes, their dislikes, their communication channel, and also the unique selling point you are given to them. As simple and basic as it sounds, because sometimes you can get swamped into, too many features, how cool the product is, but I always go for simplicity. And once you know what someone likes, like Ido mentioned earlier, are you dealing with government? Are you dealing, is it your end user? Are you dealing with a developer? Are you dealing with an institution? You know, it's important to understand what they like. As simple as that. Identify the top 3 things that they like. Okay. If it's a VC fund, they want to multiply their profit. They don't care about how cool your product is. So you need to take into account that, you know, in your pitch. And also, even if you are pitching to multiple VCs, their likes might be different. Some are impact-based, some are trying to invest in Africa, some are only focused on in technology. So as plain, as simple as it sounds, you know, they said clarity brings progress, you know. So it's key to know what they like and what they don't like, you know, research and understand. Government doesn't like you associate, you know, being in bed with them today and insulting government tomorrow, protesting and things like that. As basic as it sounds, you know, they get emotional around that, and it's all over the world. You know, there's so many examples of, you know, that. So in terms of communication, you need to understand which channel, you know. Some people don't like WhatsApp. You know, I see a lot of entrepreneurs having casual communication, not being able to differentiate how to communicate between properly structured organizations like VCs versus when they're talking to their, you know, employees, co-founders, and the likes. And the last thing is unique selling point. You need to identify for each stakeholder what is it that you are offering that is unique that others are not offering, or that will get their attention. Okay, so I'll share you know, these slides with Catherine, you know, so that it will go around. But I think it's always important to do stakeholder mapping. Even within your family, you have brothers, they don't like the same thing. You know, they don't like to eat the same thing. And this life of business is a trade, basically. Is give and take. You need to understand properly what people want, what they don't want, you know. Some might be as simple as, why do you do 3 and 5 minute pitch? Because those for millions of dollars, they don't like to waste time, you know, and that's why you have to dive in straight to the point. Stakeholder mapping is key, and for me, that's what I will encourage everyone to do, in addition to, of course, the pitch format that we have by FI. Thank you.
Thank you, Khalil. Stakeholder mapping, please, founders note. That's very, very key. You need to know your audience in preparing your pitch. Thank you for that contribution, presentation. So we'll take the next mentor, that's Nadia.
So I'm really happy that my friends here have helped me jump a few slides. I will barely show them, and then you guys will get it right away, because my co-panelist was very great. I'm very grateful for them that they went through those points. And I'll try to just give one message, but I'll go over one point and then we'll get to the main message. Just give me a second as I share the screen here.
Should I enable?
Okay. It'll be fine. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I think for those of us who've looked at these kind of conversations, seeing it from the VC perspective, you know, I'm going to re-emphasize it here, that whoever, and this slide is talking about VCs or people who are investing. I loved Edu, I love your slide because you divided it into stages, but whereas this one is kind of all over, you don't really know what's the stage. This is not as nice as my co-panelists call slide, but it gives you a sense that when people are looking to make deals, they are looking at to understand, they know themselves that 50% of the deals will not bring them money. They'll give them very little returns. Whereas they are always looking for that 5%, the 5% of the deals that will actually make the most of the money here on the 60% of the returns. So as you're presenting, you actually want to be, you want to show them that you're not here, you're not in this bucket of 50% where they will not get a lot of returns back from the work. And what you're hoping is you want to show them that you actually have a potential for more than 10x. 10 years ago, this was 10x. Now people are looking for 50x and 100x, right? So this is old, those are old numbers. But just to give you a sense, as you're presenting it, this is why it's so important that when you present, you think of, like today we had this amazing discussion on like, who is your payer? Who is the client? Who is going to, people are asking because you need to bring that revenue component to that, to the market traction, to your pitch, because that's what the investor is trying to listen for. You might have the best product. All of these guys had great products, and they probably had great pitches. Otherwise, they will not make a deal. But what the investor is actually looking for this 5%. Here, 5%. I'll just skip on a few things just to give time. And I know that these slides are already they're already with Catherine, so I'm sure you will get it at one point. But I'll just emphasize again, what my colleague mentioned, stakeholder analysis. Come really prepared and make sure that you're practicing many, many times. And there are many ways to practice. You can practice with your friends, with your mentors, practice with someone on the street and say, do you think this is a good idea? I've practiced with, of course, the professionals, practice with people who are done this before. There are some particular events where you have the opportunity to kind of have 2 minutes of someone's time and just tell them an idea. Because if you talk to someone and you say, okay, this is my idea, I have 2 minutes, I'll tell you my pitch really quickly. Are you willing to give me $10? Are you willing to give me $5? Just test run it a little bit with people who are not investors at first, and then work your way until you're very confident, and then you go into talking with different people. And of course, telling a story. I think this is very critical. As you speak about it, you want to tell a story, and at the same time, do not forget about the product. Do not forget about your facts. So it's a balance, I find, between the storytelling and between the facts and the product. If you go anywhere online, this is not my slide. I've taken it from some fantastic person who has those highlighted the key elements here. But you'll see if you go to any slides anywhere online, you will see that people have basically the sections are quite clear. There's nothing new about it. What is important is as you want to make each one of those points very, very clear to the person who's listening. So when you talk about the problem, you want to show the person that you really know the problem. You really understand the depth of the problem. If you talk about traction, and I will share the key thing here, which is the traction. How do you show traction? Traction is something that's important, especially even if it's at the seed, pre-seed. You want to show some way of telling people that you have some level of traction. You also want to understand your competitive market. I understand that sometimes we have products that are unique and there are no competitors ever, but it's a very scary word for an investor when you tell them no one else in the universe is doing this. Or if you say there are some competitors, but all of them are, garbage, I am the best, I'm the only, so those kind of all or black or white answers are very worrisome for us, a listener, because they are trying to understand, do you, from you, whether you understand the exact specific value proposition that you're bringing, the competitive advantage. And a competitive advantage does not mean that everyone else is wrong. It just means that you need to identify that particular competitive advantage. So that is something that is important. There are 12 elements of pitch deck, but I'm sure you'll see the slides and you'll see through it clearly. One important thing here is you want to make sure that by the end of your pitch, you want people to remember at least 3 things. You want people to remember what is your specific superpower. What are you an expert in? You being you, the team, the product that you're doing. What are you your superpower, your core powers? And then what have you done so far? So yes, of course, sometimes we're in ideation phase, or we're in maybe MVP stage, but you need to tell people what you have done so far that make you confident in what you're doing going forward with. And then what makes you the best. So this kind of also relates to this, but what makes you most well positioned? Maybe this should be well positioned. What makes you well positioned to have the impact that you're promising to people? Because if I am, think of it this way, if I'm a farmer and I have an apple tree in my backyard and I promise you that I will sell you apples, you know that I have apple trees in the back of my, in my farm. So you know that I can provide that promise. But for us here, when you're still developing an MVP, or we're still in early stage of prototyping, you need to show the listener what makes you the best positioned, uniquely positioned to fulfill that promise. I think that is a critical thing. I'll have maybe just one I'll wrap up very briefly on one particular point, which is how to show traction. And again, you'll see the links here. You know, this has been these kind of conversations have been going on in with the entrepreneurs across the world. So feel free to get inspired by people who are working in different parts of the world, and maybe they're solving a similar problem, maybe they're solving something completely, you know, in a different sector, industry, but you'll get inspired by how they think about things. So, you know, they say if a startup is able to show traction in its early stage, it puts a positive light on the company. So you know, it's not enough for us to say, I don't have a product and that's why I don't know what's going to happen in the future. And there's really 2 kinds of traction: hard traction, which is money, and soft traction, which is everything that's not money. Customers, do the customers really want what you're selling? Are there any awards? Are there any news about you? And so there are particular, you know, 6 kind of categories, I'd say, of you know, what do I do with my traction slide when I'm pre-revenue? And this, of course, will vary depending on the kind of company and the kind of industry, but just kind of, you know, some of them might be valuable or useful. You know, if you have some sort of recurring sale, that's great. But if you're not, like, what else could you do? Sometimes it could be marketing metrics. So how many people did you speak with? How many people are willing to pay? How many people are willing to sell, that they're waiting for you to sell to them? User or customer feedback. If you've tried something on a small scale, can you show that you are, even if you did not make money, by the way, here it doesn't mean that you made money. It just means you gave someone, a customer, some information, and they can bring it back and it gives you some feedback. Are there any strategic partners? Are there any pilot studies or pre-orders? And then are there any positive news that you can share with people? Now, this is one way of thinking about the traction slide when you are pre-revenue. Folks who are in NFX also came up with they call it the ladder of traction or something like that, something fancy. But they basically have a list of items that showcase the traction from very beginning, being customer need, big market, great team, all the way to rapid growth. People, what they really care about is the growth, right? So you need to kind of work through this ladder slowly but surely, one step at a time, to show that you have a ladder of proof that you can fulfill that promise for the investors or for the group. I'll pause there. Of course, I just put this in the slides in case people are having issues accessing it. I find that there's a lot of good tips, but I'll pause here and thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you all.
Okay, yeah. So thanks a lot for that insightful presentation, Nadia, and also very colorful slides. So we'll be happy to share with the founders. I particularly like the traction ladder. Yeah, quite a lot to learn from that on the startup journey. Thank you. So founders, please get your questions ready, because after the presentations, we'll be having the Q&A sessions. You can drop your questions either in the chat box or, we can also have it live. So the next presenter mentor is Mahmoud. Okay, yeah, Mahmoud. Latif had to step out, tendered his apologies for another meeting, so I guess we'll catch up with him for office hours. Yeah. All right, Mahmoud.
First of all, I want to thank every one of you guys that is taking this hard journey to try to build something. It's not an easy thing. And for most of us that continue to clarify your visions, try to get you access to capital and more, guess what? It's not charity, like most of us have said. It's about the Benjamins. If you want to make more, you want to create more, you want to build more, there's nothing wrong with having a hybrid mindset of trying to change something you think nobody have literally changed or do better than another person. But best believe anybody that is also dedicating his resources, be it time, money, or any other thing, they need to see it come back, right? I know I joined this late due to how tight my schedule is, but some of the things that I want to share with you is very simple, because most of the speakers have even spoken more about most of these things. It can be a little bit advanced for you guys, but I just want to give you an overview of how certain angel investors or VC try to ascertain if you are even worthy of an investment. And this is an open public data, which you can go once you are done perfecting your pitch. You need to go start studying how your pitch is being perceived by a venture capitalist and angel investors or any other source of funding that you get. So this is by the open. Basically, I'm gonna just go straight down to the thing, and I'm gonna also share this with the group, essentially. So I'm gonna come straight to what are the factors, the comparison factors that make someone even want to invest in you, right? Or in your startup or your entity or any idea that you have. First, you have the strength of you, the entrepreneur or your team. You have the size of the opportunity you're trying to solve. You have the product and technology you're trying to build. You have the competitive environment in which your product and services exist. You have your marketing and sales partnerships and all the partnerships, which I believe Nadia stated in one of our presentations. You guys could see all that. Then looking at, oh, did you get any other investments? So before going even to VCs and the rest, try to attend many grants and hackathons and pitch competitions. Even if it's like, I want 50,000 here, 100,000 here, which is primarily in Nigeria, Naira. Don't just wait that, okay, till you get it to the next stage, which also in Nadia's presentation, you guys saw it. Immediately you go to any competition, be it even year old. Our company just finished FI Abuja after a rigorous of 3 months and the rest. Put your press release, create your digital footprint, let people start seeing you ahead of time. Or when they go to start doing their homework in terms of due diligence, they already know, oh, he went to the startup school. Oh, he did this. Oh, he won this competition. Oh, he was part of this competition. Even if you don't win, go You see, like everybody that is here right now, the number one thing that you did for yourself is showing up. Always show up for every opportunity that will take you from point A to point B. You might not be in the perfect place, but guess what? You are the only person in the arena. There are other people that are not here. One. So once you do that, you can come down, and also here, you'll be able to see how a standard valuation worksheet works. And above, there's instruction on how to use it. Okay, what is the strength, which we have said is 0 to 30? Right now, on you, right now, in your own as the CEO of, let's say, I'll make reference to one of the company that is trying to help reduce the, Anyways, the guy that is doing the fire extinguishing thing for trucks and the rest. I don't want to even start selling you a pitch or how to pitch it better. I see not only, I think from your LinkedIn, I see you have a background in that sector of what creates. Nonetheless, today you can leverage different massive open online courses to now also give yourself a competitive edge in that sector. If you are doing supply chain, logistics, literally go to Coursera or edX, get a certificate in 2 to 3 weeks in supply chain management, add it to you and the rest. And there's a lot of things you learn. And when you are going there as a founder, trying to learn more about this field to add to your educational acumen and your experience in the market. So investors know that this guy is not only just, or this lady is not just saying, I want to do this. They are putting effort towards that, right? Your experience in the thing. Don't wait to have it perfect to go to market. As you start the company and the idea, there was also something that I saw, which was number 3 in getting traction, which Nadia showed, user interviews, basically. So also I'm gonna make reference to you doing the fire extinguishing thing for trucks across, which we know it happens almost any other day in Nigeria and the rest. And before you know, we don't have a standard fire service that protects anything. What do you have to do? Deploy people. Anywhere they see Dangote tractors, trucks, or any MRS trucks, or any of the oil and gas company moving. Driver, make I ask you, what is your biggest challenge? Even if it's 3 questions, start putting those data. And now use those data and say, and reach out to those companies and say, see, over our survey for the last 6 months, we've discovered that this company has the highest number of trucks in Ajakuta roads going down to, let's say, Abuja. No, these ones are coming from Port Harcourt going to this region and the rest. And who are the companies? And you send them that you want to receive a letter of intent, that if this your technology is ready, they are willing to work with you. These are the things that investors want to see. And she also stated it in that, so you can go back to that. So when you start putting all those things, I'm giving you guys certain clues to even feel the ladder and the rest to go forward. You understand that it's easier for an investor to say, oh, so you got a letter of intent on this, you got to get this information from this company, you got to have done user interview for over 50,000 truck drivers within 6 months. And it's very easy today. Incentivize people in those locations where you know all these trucks pass overnight. Give them just credit card. They'll get you all this question and SMS you back. It's simple. Don't make it complicated and the rest. And that way, at that same time, you have started acquiring user data that they have consented for you to reach back to them and say, oh, our technology is ready. They will speak to you in rooms that you are not able to even be there. So that I will now say, okay, are you willing to step down and the rest? Because being a founder, a lot of people, we are so passionate about what we build, and you don't intend to say, oh, because they want to bring somebody, I rather let the company die, this solution and everything is me, I've suffered and the rest. There are people that actually, they don't want you to step down, but they want to understand, are you doing this for yourself or doing this towards the solution? Are you ready to have a win-win scenario? You need to understand that. Then your management team, which you're talking about, the size of your market, you can do that. The strength of your intellectual property. I think the first guy that I gave feedback on, he literally said it in his statement. We already have a patent, which is subject to review and more. But if you have that in anything you're building, it's very important that you document it and you have it accurate, so that there's even enough resources for you in the legal part to say if anybody, there's a cease and desist letter that will immediately go shut down anybody that is trying to almost copy you by a certain percentage or more. You need to make sure if you have been able to get a novel idea to protect that intellectual property, be it a technology, infrastructure, and hardware, whatever it is. And that helps us call you more. Compelling of your product to market, your competitive environment, which you speak, sales, marketing, then need for additional round. There are investors that are ready, like somebody mentioned also. Once you come to speak to me, let me know where you are. There are investors that want to go with you for the long ride. There are investors that just want to stop in the next bus stop. There are investors that want to finish the line with you. You have to know them and even master that. I think another person spoke about it. Know what kind of investor you are even talking to or investment firm. Are those people going for the long run, or are they just here for the minutes? Are they just in and out and introduce you to more people to carry it on? You need to have the emotional and human intelligence to connect the dots once you start talking to them. And investors give you opportunity to ask them questions. So typically you can throw a question to an investor. So like, oh, typically on some of your portfolios, how long have you guys been with them? Did you guys give them more rounds? Why did you exit this and that? This is how you build relationship. And from there, you also have insight if this is the perfect match. It's not all about just getting money. It's building relationship that there's enough money for your ideas to come to fruition and everybody share a part of the cake. So thank you. And I'm going to send this too.
Thank you, Mahmoud. Tips, practical tips, and founders, I hope it's making a lot of sense, so that as you prepare your 3-minute pitch deck, you'll recall or deploy all of these tips in crafting your pitch. Thank you so much, Mahmoud. Most grateful, and we'll receive you. And also looking forward to your office hours this week or when you have availability. All right. So the next mentor to present is Yemisi. And that's the last mentor. So questions, everyone get your questions ready. So Yemisi, you have the platform. Network is going to first Yemisi. She's gone. That's the message from her. Okay, so oh, she's here. Yemisi, what's going on? Okay, so we're moving on to Q&A. So we begin to take the questions. So I don't see questions in the chat box. yet. Okay. Oh, Yemisi's hand is up. Yemisi? Wow. Okay. All right. So if you have questions, please by show of hands, questions for the mentors by show of hands, and then we can take you in turns. No questions, founders? Okay, so you're all good, you're all fine with you know all the best practices regarding pitching now, I want to believe. Okay. Onyeka, you have a question?
Yes,
For
I
the
wanted to ask.
mentors?
Yeah, I wanted
Okay,
to
go
ask a
ahead.
question. Okay, so I've listened to Nadia and I like her ladder, quite detailed, and I've listened to Mahmoud. They've been very fantastic presentations. For someone who is involved in an industry where the competition is very high and has people who offer similar products, very similar, how do you start to find, or how do you pitch a differentiator? Like when, and I mean, there's really no differentiator because you do practically the same thing, probably do it in a different way or maybe same way, but you want to also play in that market. How do you begin to pitch so that you're able to also capture your, I mean, your potential investors and then of course the audience?
So are you conversant with what they call a pain point?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so regardless of what solution you have, there's always another pain point for another person. Take that as an advantage to make competitive advantage in a market that is saturated.
So I'll add to that, to that important point that Mahmoud raised. Two pieces of advice. One is that the quality of anything could be either usually defined in three. It's like a triangle with three. You have to have at least one of those arms. One of those points. It's either cheaper than the competition. It's either quicker than the competition, or it's a better quality than the competition. Right? Okay. So you want to still find a differentiation from the competition, because if you are standing exactly in a saturated market with a lot of competitors and there's no real issue, then why are you here? So there must be some differentiation for that, and that I think would that add to Mahmoud's pain point kind of issue. The second piece of advice is your product, if you need to find a product market fit that works to your advantage. So if you're saying that the product only has one market, you'll be surprised. Some products and some technologies can have multiple markets or multiple clients within a particular market or a different niche market. So as much as you're pushing forward to find that competitive differentiation or differentiation point from your competitors, also take a step back and look at the overview and say, where else can I play? Where else is this technology useful? So there's a bit of, I think that would be my second point there.
Okay, thank you.
All right, can I add?
Yes, sure.
All right, you can be in a market with the same product, same everything, but your strategy to deliver that product might be different. And that is why we have a go-to-market strategy, for different products. And you can see some, if you look at like Kuda Bank, they're basically doing the same thing as First Bank, every other, in terms of banking, but they chose to go through like the youthful, population, So your strategy, you don't need to worry about competition. There will always be something that moves customer, from a different, perspective. If you talk about luxury brands, their strategy is not to even advertise, to make it look scarce. And I've seen luxury brands that rather than doing a sales or discount, at the end of season, they will just destroy the products because they don't even want it to be very in the market. So your strategy is your key differentiator. You can be selling the same thing, same pain point, same customer, same group, everything, but how you deliver it can be different. I hope this helps.
Yeah.
Case in point, just to give last so that we'll go answer other people's question. What Khalil just made reference, go and research the people that do all the Gucci glasses, the Versace and the rest. It's one company. And they're rather at the end of the year, take all the product back to their tiny place in Italy and destroy it than to even do the breakdown, to even give it for discount. So it's only the shops, which are the big multi-channels like Macy's and the rest, that can offer to say discount if they even paid for the merchandise. Other than that, they'll prefer to just ship it, take it back, and destroy it. So research about it. I forgot the name of the company, but they're in Italy. They are the biggest glasses company in the world.
LVMH, Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy brand.
Yeah, all of them.
And in fact, there's Bongon and Olufsen speakers. They put an advert and tell you that you can't afford it. And that's their strategy. They just said, okay, just keep this picture somewhere, but you can't afford it. So
strategy when coming into
so much. Yes.
saturated market. So Onyeka is asking because he's coming into the
and for those of you that
sharing.
support Arsenal, I think the strategy is to give people hope, not necessarily winning.
Interesting.
Yes,
Daniel, you are not nice. You are not a nice person.
Okay.
So the reason I was asking, we are trying to talk about the reason I was asking because of the.
Yeah. You're trying to be a competitor to Uber and Bolt now.
That's right sharing. Yes.
Ride sharing. Yeah. Okay. All right. So
I will also, because there's a lot of people, so I'll just tell you, your goal now is to think about your exit strategy. If you know your competitors, think about your exit strategy earlier. Okay. So am I doing this for the long time, or am I building it enough for somebody to buy me out? Think about that early. If you are in a place like that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes. Okay. So who is next? Been seeing lots of hands
Paul is
popping
next.
up. Okay,
Paul is
Paul.
next.
Okay, Paul.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, mentors. Thank you so much for your wealth of knowledge. I have a problem because there's really so many information, and it's very hard to put everything together. But I think for me, I'll get a lot of clarity, and I'm just asking, I'm hoping I get some kind of clarity. If, for example, I can understand the point at which Sharp, for example, Sharp, the wonderful logistics ride, got that light bulb moment for that information that actually got him to win. Boolean capital, that point, and this is going to help us because it's a rapidly evolving ecosystem for almost all of us, especially we founders that are starting up. So if we can understand some critical elements that, just tips that moment for each and every one of us to be able to go out there and get our solution to the world, I think it will help us a lot. Thank you.
Okay. Who wants to give this a stab?
So Sharp, Khalil, you did Sharp, right?
Yes.
Or who?
Khalil.
So, and
Yes,
I'll say it like I said it before. If Khalil do not show up, there will never be an opportunity for him to go. And that might not be the first time that he showed up.
Exactly.
But he can tell you better. Your first goal is to show up. Your second goal is to put corporate formalities into how you do your things and how you present it. And that's why you're in an institution like this. They are teaching you all the steps. And I believe by the end of this program, not only do you know how to do your pitch deck, build your team, clarify your visions, get your target market fit, create your data room, and reach out to investors. You cannot come, even coming unprepared is an advantage, but coming prepared is just like you go to a battle. No matter how strong you are, if you don't take your own armor to guide you in that place, you might not win. At least you went to the battle, but you might die early than another person. So this is a fight that you want to do based on your ideas and the rest. Now, what you're doing at this moment is armoring yourself and training yourself to what is to come. And your goal is, once you get there, understand that it entails you to go forward, go with all your strength. You might not win the first time or the second time, but guess what? He who lives to run, how do they say it in Nigeria again? He comes back to fight another day.
Another day.
At least you will learn something different. You will see, when people go to pitch competitions, they don't go because I'm the best. I want to see what other people are doing and why they are better than me at this stage. And the only moment when you can start getting that is putting yourself, go, let them laugh at you at first. But he who laughs last, laugh the best.
Thank you. Words of wisdom. So show up. Show up. Thank you. Kingsley, question.
All right, thank you very much for having me. And I think we are really having a great time in this section. Thank you, FI, and thank you all the mentors, the presenters. Appreciate you all. My question is is straightforward. Now, where do we meet these investors? I know, yes, the FI program is an opportunity to meet investors, but beyond FI, like we're talking about pitching, where do we meet these investors for us to be able to pitch? That's one. And two, like in Mahmoud's presentation, he mentioned that we should be able to identify investors that are for short term or the long run. How do we identify the kind of investors that will be with us for short term or in the long run? Those are my questions. Thank you.
Okay. So Mahmoud is a recent residence, social capital. So you have just pitched your hot seat, you have just pitched before an investor. Bullion Labs Capital, the VC firm, you have also just pitched before an investor. Nadia is also launching a fund. You have just pitched before investors. Latif Asheku is an active angel investor syndicating, in syndicating networks, fund investors. Then there are networks. Okay, we can see that list being shared across the screen that you can, these are lists of investors. FI has a venture network with 350 investors, cutting across pre-seed to, seed and growth stage. Okay, so investors are there, but you need to be prepared to meet investors. And we have a funding lab. So you graduate and you're an alumni of FI, you go to the funding lab for free. Okay, then you are taught how to network, how to pitch, how to prepare to meet investors. So that's my answer. So one of the investors, our mentors, we just leave them, call them mentors so that nobody is pressurizing them. So when we're saying go for office hours, do the work, you are dealing with investors here. Those are the people that are coming to mentor you. They are all investors as you are seeing them.
And may I also add something that you can meet people within FI, you can meet people outside of FI. you'll be surprised at how do they call the 6 degrees of connections, you know, the network effect. So if you know someone who knows someone, you know, that's kind of how it usually goes. Make sure to once your pitch is ready, like I underline the word, your pitch is ready and repeat and prepared and validated and you're comfortable with it. Start telling it to everyone around you. This is my company, this is what I do, this is what I'm looking for in terms of financing. Because sometimes it's one person who helps another connector. That's kind of one thing. And then the other thing is you need to also attend beyond the FIN and the amazing program. I think it's amazing that you have a program like this at this stage of the company, but also look and attend other events that are open to the public sometimes, and sometimes it's through other incubators, accelerators, and just attend the event and know who's presenting and expand your network through of the different people, because they're different groups, right? And you want to have the best chances of connecting with as many people as you can. So there's a lot of room. Like I love this list of names, but there's a lot of room of finding investors. But do not reach out to them, you know, until you're really comfortable with your pitch. So I think this is a good session to reflect on how you're pitching your story.
Thank you,
And
Nadia.
Yeah, Nadia, you said perfectly, like this is Ajuma. The reason why I'm sharing this also, which I can share with the room, there's thousands on meeting an investor is the least of your problem, but meeting the right investor that is dealing with your market segment and also your stage, and also the fund is domiciled in your area or your region is the key thing. And secondly, the power of your network is everything. Ideally, you want someone from the inside to introduce your work, which is one of the things that FI continues to do to bring people like us. Randomly, if you send me an email, my emails, like I review like how many thousand pitches, like 500 to 1,000 pitch a year, right? So why do you think I'll just review your own yesterday? I happen to have visited directly in Palo Alto with even the top guys from VC Lab and more. And if you see the amount of work they're putting to get this thing done, it's not easy. This is one of the best platforms that have continued to lower the barrier of entry for visionary founders across the world to learn and excel. So yes, you're in the right place. You're taking advantage of this network and resources. As I said again, your number one goal is to show up. And that will set the precedence or the waves that you continue being in bigger cycles, and bigger people or people that have access are introducing your work and resources to others. And you can now have, even let's say this thing, I can send you guys this, but guess what? If you send them an email, your bounce rates or the number of email replies you get is low. But guess what? If you have somebody from your network say, hey, I've been working with these people for over 6 months and the rest now, I think you might find this of interest because it's in your verticals or your axes and the rest. Guess what? They're like, okay, let's take a look at it. But guess what? Like Nadia said, you are not coming there unprepared, because then it's not about your own failure or your inability to do your homework. You are now making the person that opened the room for you to meet other people look like they don't know what they are doing. After all, they have put all their time, resources, and energy to guide and give you the perspective of what to expect. So thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks.
Ito, did I see your hand?
Well, I mean, let me just try and really keep it pointed. 2 things. I wasn't going to say anything before, but I didn't know that Rapid Medicare is in this cohort. But I have seen the Rapid Medicare deck in something like a pitch review panel. I've seen it in a community of VCs that I belong to, number one. Number two, so like Ajuma said, sometimes you are interacting innocently and just, informally, casually with people, but you don't know that they are investors. There is one particular startup in here that I have shortlisted. I mean, and I'm not trying to. I won't say the name of that startup because I don't want to create unnecessary pressure, but I've shortlisted that particular startup. So I'm sure perhaps other investors, other mentors here have their eyes on some of you already, right? And so people are going to be watching your progress. So, those are the two things I wanted to drop. Number one, I have seen a particular pitch. I've seen the deck. When I heard the name Rapid Medicare today, my camera was off, but I was smiling. I was like, I saw this thing a few days ago, right? And it was in a panel of people all over the world. It wasn't a Nigerian panel. So please take these things very serious, like Ajuma said. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, though, for that, highlighting that, you never know who you are interacting with. So it's important to take what you're doing seriously. Maria? Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for all these valuable nuggets the mentors have given us today. There are so many of them. My question is around the need to demonstrate traction. It was really interesting for me to know that you can have non-revenue traction. So that's comforting. So for me, there is, I understand it well, there is revenue traction and there is also profit traction. So you can have a project that can give you incremental or increase in revenues, maybe on a monthly basis and so on. But in terms of profit, because of the sort of investments you have made to bring that project into fruition, you may want to amortize over time, and you may not have the kind of incremental profits like you have in terms of revenue. So what advice do you have in this regard? How should we structure our revenues and how should we structure our costs? Should we just disregard amortization and see that our profits are growing? We have good profit traction as well, or what should we do? Thank you.
Okay. Who wants to take a stab at this, mentors?
May I?
Yes, sure.
All right, thank you. I will need to share my screen, and I can see the time is 7:57. I'm really going to try and summarize it. Okay. So if you remember this slide, okay, the definition, one of the problems is that founders think, like you just said, that there is a universal definition of the word traction. And I'm happy that you started to change that impression in this session today. Traction differs per each of these stages. So the only, if you approach me and in the first minute of our conversation, I deduce that you are in idea stage, I am not expecting you to talk about revenue traction. I'm expecting you to talk about traction, which is your degree of progress toward the specific goals or objectives or milestones reasonable for your current stage. In other words, if you're in idea stage, the only job you have in the world is to eliminate or to validate all the assumptions in something that is still an idea stage. When you've done those assumptions, then you move towards you move forward to the prototype stage. The only job you have in the world in the prototype stage is to build some kind of dummy, lifeless look-alike of what the final product will look like. If you are building an all software startup, then that is a UX UI design. If you are building a hardware startup, then that is maybe some kind of hardware prototype. Okay. So if you start to think about it like this, then if you are in prototype stage and you approach and you secure a meeting with an investor, then you are not, the investor doesn't expect you to talk about revenue. You can talk about the progress with validation of assumptions around the customer, validation of assumptions around the problem, and then the feedback that you have been getting when you've been sharing your prototype with users. Did you have to arrive at this current iteration of the prototype, aka UX UI design, after 5 revisions based on live market feedback? Then hopefully, if you get strong enough feedback from the prototype, you move to MVP. What's MVP? MVP is a fully animated version of the UX UI design. Now, if you've ever heard the term Figma, Figma is UX UI, MVP is the real build of the product, whether it's a mobile app or it's a website. At MVP, your job is to validate that promise you made to people that you showed the UX UI design to, when you're showing them that, when you're showing them a UX UI design, right, you are making a promise. MVP is where you fulfill that promise. So what are the metrics? What are the expectations of somebody in MVP stage? The expectations of somebody in MVP stage are a product that users love. They love its technical functionality. We're not here talking about making money. In other words, what are the metrics for a product that is in MVP stage? Monthly active users, daily active users, weekly active users, churn rate, customer acquisition numbers, okay? Those are the numbers, okay? Now, seed stage is where you monetize an MVP stage. And so at seed, you can start talking about, okay, so dear investor, I've been, let's use the MVP. Dear investor, at the MVP stage, I've been generating 2,000 monthly active users, on a steady basis for the last 2 to 3 months. Would you mind supporting our efforts with $25,000, $50,000 of your money to accelerate or boost our efforts so that we can cross from 2,000 monthly active users to 10,000 monthly active users, or 2,000 monthly active users to 2,000 paying users per month? Do you get that structure of that pitch? The structure of your ask and the structure of your communication of what you determine as traction depends on where you are and what is reasonable for that stage. Let me stop it there because I promised to keep it short.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's so clear now.
Thank you so much. It's ours.
Thanks a lot, Ido. Yeah. So office hours will be hot this week, as I can see. So please, we'll take a last question. Every other thing, please. Okay. So Musa, is that Lola? Okay, Musa. Has Musa been here?
Yes, I've been here.
Okay. All right. Question.
Great, Mr. Mahmoud, great, Madam Nadia, great, Mr. Idobi, been an amazing one. So, Mr. Mahmoud, I think I need this. We have been talking about data. Honestly, data hasn't been cheap. To acquire data, you need to go extra mile. But for a startup, like this data you have right now, I know it didn't come in that handy. How do you think, what are the best ways you can access data without stretching ourselves financially? Because FI has been able to structure in a system whereby every sprint leads to another. And then we had a situation over time where we had to like look out for firms that have failed over time. I don't know, in one of our sprints. So what are the best ways you can access data as a startup? I think that's that for now. Every other question I wanted to ask has been answered over the course of our conversation.
Okay, so maybe we'll take the two. Lola, can you ask your question and then we'll take the two together so that we can close.
Actually, I didn't have a question. I was clapping. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So mentors, how do we access, Charles Victor, I'm not seeing the hand. Okay, Charles, please, no lecture, just direct your question. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The season has been very, very great.
Question.
Just two straight questions. One, we talk about one product solving one specific customer, like the doctor, the person bringing up a solution for the medical class or something like that. What if the customer require more than one particular solution? For instance, if the software others that are already doing something that you are doing are approaching the same solution, are offering solutions that are multiple, that solve multiple problems at a go. And we are now being saying, be specific, one customer problem and all that. Will that not throw the person out of the market because other competitive solutions have other things to offer, while yours is just being too specific on one? Then okay. Will you be able to talk to other accelerator programs when you are in a particular accelerator program? For instance, you are talking about equity and all that. And if you are now going to register for another accelerator program, will there not be a clash of interest and things like that? Thank you very much.
Okay. So who wants to respond to this?
I'll give it a go, and then my friends here on the call will correct me, please, because I have to drop the call pretty soon. So, you have to give me reason to believe that you can do it with one product before you go ahead and invest all of this money and effort and time and, I don't know, take loans to make 5 different products for 5 different organizations. The answer my answer can change a little bit if I know a little bit of history of what you have done in the past, few years of your life, the credibility of the team, and the challenge of this market. There's always in strategy, build, buy, and borrow. You either, if you find that your product can be improved, if there's another product next to it, then you have the strategic decision to make whether you want to build it yourself, and that is the least the longest path. You want to build another product and co-merge those, or you want to borrow something. Borrow meaning that you are collaborating with someone else who can make that product, and then you put those 2 pieces together and approach the client or the market. It's a matter of how much energy and cash do you have to go approach 5, this combined product first. So to me, my gut response was like, show me that you can do it with one product before you go ahead and build a combined product. So that's kind of my thing, but my answer can change depending on the particular cases sometimes. In terms of accelerators, whether you are allowed with equity to do the accelerators, Juma, please correct me if I'm wrong, okay, on what I'm going to say. But as an entrepreneur, you want to find and fight for your, I'm going to use the Mahmoud analogy, fight for your survival. So if you can find help from after the FI, and you have help, or you reach out to someone, this is your business. You want to work hard to make it happen, and I'm sure that my friend Ajuma and everyone else in the FI team will be more than happy to see you succeed. And FI could be a part of that journey, but you cannot limit yourself to saying no one's responsible for your success except for you. So you have to take that ownership and find every single element. I'm originally Egyptian, and I was in Egypt just last month, and I've seen companies that are in multiple incubator accelerators because they're trying to hustle. They're trying to, I mean, this is very a Western concept, but they're trying to find ways to get it to work. They, you know, and every group will give you a little bit of extra energy or an idea for you to push the idea forward. So that's kind of my thing, and I'll put it between disclaimer, you know, that my friends at FI will fix my advice if I've overstepped. But that's kind of my thought.
Not at all. That was spot on. Yes. So business development is a continuous journey for every startup. So this is not going to be the only accelerator that you'll be part of if you're wise. And as FI, we partner with other accelerator programs. We are pre-seed. We partner with Techstars. So you are free to join the Techstars after you are done here. And your requirements are not met. You can join a YC. You can lots and lots and lots of other accelerator programs. So you look around and you see which is the best fit. But like it is, business development is continuous in the life of your business. So you need to know that. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So I think we've come to the end of the session this evening. And it was very, very, we've had an interesting time, lots and lots of practical tips and solutions, information provided by the mentors. Just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. That really, really works and practical. And that is what this design of the program, you know, also helps you to do, to, you know, put the puzzle together, breaking it down into little bits, and then you begin to fit the puzzle together until your business is properly formed. Okay. We're going to get into next week is the examination, mentor idea review. And I already mentioned everyone is going to pitch before a panel of investors, panel of mentors, okay? We want to see, check your progress, that the ideas you've been working on are being validated. If they are not ideas, the mentors are going to score you. They are going to rate you as usual. You'll take the form of your hot seat pitch, but this time you're presenting with a slide, and you'll be presenting for 3 minutes. The slide template is in your pitch guide, and it's in your profile dashboard. So that is the first major review of founders within the program. So founders, make sure you are in office hours so that the mentors can also help you with your work, you know, to help you with these pitches. And I'll also be setting up office hours, you know, so that we can begin to go over and do the practice, you know, ahead of that time. So it's been a great evening, and we shot slightly beyond our time, but I think we've all done very, very well. Thank you, mentors, again, for all the resources, and thank you, founders, for your time and attention. And I hope that you've had an enjoyable time with the mentors. Thank you, and have a happy night rest, everyone. Goodbye from Nigeria. Bye. Thanks.
Goodbye, mentors. Thank you so much.
Thank you.